and good morning. So, before I get started on the topic here in the title, I wanted to do a little bit of follow up on my video from yesterday. So, yesterday I was talking about morning routines, and one thing that I mentioned, but I just want to make sure that I hit harder, is really the importance of celebrating each item in your routine. Like, okay, I got out of bed. Good job. Like, be excited. Let yourself be excited about each little accomplishment. Like, I went on my run. I'm excited. I had my water. I'm excited. Or, maybe excitement's too strong of a word. But today, like, I did my run, which is now a minute long, and then my jumping jacks, which is now a minute long. And I started out at like 30 seconds of run and 10 seconds of jumping jacks. And I was like, oh, because it's still not uber pleasurable. It's still exercise, and I don't like exercise, but I do recognize the value in it. And I'm beginning to warm up to it. But anyway, just like when I had that negative thought, I caught myself, and I was like, no, like, I'm happy that I'm doing this, and I know that it's good, and I feel the benefits of it. So it's just good to keep that positive reinforcement, because the default is, the little negative voice inside your head. So I just wanted to throw that back out there. Anyway, after that, another part of my morning routine is that I have some herbal tea. And I'm not really a tea drinker. This is just one of those things that Jim Quick mentioned. And so I picked it up because, like, why not? There's some in the house, sure. But it's kind of nice to have, after the morning run, to have a little bit of a warm drink, and it's no calories, so you're still technically fasting from the night before, meaning that you still have that. There's a clarity of mind that comes from not taking breaks between eating. They call it intermittent fasting. Everybody intermittently fasts unless you're grazing all day and all night, but there's some benefit that comes from that. And so on here, this is where we're getting to the point. On here, let's see if we can. I can zoom this in. I can make it happen. There is this little quote that says, "Oh, come on, get in focus, get in focus." All right, it's not working for me. Oh, there it is. It says whatever I put in the description there. Something about lifting others to their highest potential. And this is what I wanted to talk about because anecdotally, this seems really important to career advancement. And I was talking with my wife and my sister about this, and some interesting things came up about women in the workplace. And I don't know if I'm using the word boys club the right way or whatever. It's just something I've heard, and it sounds like what kind of helps men get ahead. So anyway, to get to the point, here it is. Men are generally more competitive than women. On average, if you take 100 men and 100 women, the most competitive men are going to be more competitive than the most competitive women in, a fair random sample. And there's probably more men in general in that group that are slightly more competitive than there are women in that group that are slightly more competitive. So let's say that you get 51 men that are particularly competitive, 49 women that are particularly competitive, and then you get, one man who's like ultra uber aggressive competitive, and then one woman who is like pretty darn competitive. And so that's to give you the idea there. And like competitiveness in men is, often viewed as like this bad trait, but there's a thing about the way that men compete, which is that typically they compete cooperatively. So we're still team players. We're just, it's often not viewed that way, but, men play on teams, and the workplace is often a team. And so I, as a man, well, just I as a person, it's not even like this is just how I am. I don't know if it has anything to do with being a man, but I feel like it does from what I've heard. So I like to find other people who are better at me in whatever area. So like I enjoy identifying people. It's like, ooh, he's way smarter than me, or ooh, he's way more skilled than me at this, or like I like uh, finding those people, and it just feels like a little bit of a rush to me to find someone who is a champion in their field. And so from my college days on, as I've rubbed shoulders with people, I've intentionally become friends with some people that I wouldn't have otherwise become friends with, just because I think to myself, wow, he's really smart, or like, wow, he's really got it together. Like, I want to be close to this person because they're going places and I want to be where they're going. And what's happened on a number of occasions is that either I've lifted people up, or they've lifted me up. So, in my first job out of college, I hired a few buddies of mine, and meaning that I recommended them, I interviewed them, and I didn't necessarily have the final say, but like I, essentially was the person that onboarded them. And that created a better relationship in most cases. There was one case where the work relationship just kind of went sour, and we don't, unfortunately, we don't have that friendship. But there's, well, maybe more than one actually. Stuff happens. I'm not the nicest person all the time anyway. But like, I try to identify people, even if I don't like someone, I will still recommend them if I know that they can get the work done, if they're going to be really valuable. And so in talking with my sister and my wife, one of the things that they said is, that their own experiences and experiences of their friends is that, yeah, they also typically tend towards going to men when they want career advice. And I thought, well, that's, kind of interesting. Is it just because there's more men available? And they said, no, that the reason is that women tend to see other women as competition. So there's only so many token woman spots available at the top or whatever. And so, you want to be that woman, or the other woman that you're competing against wants to be that woman. And so it breaks down the team dynamic a little bit. And although women are, highly praised for, you bring a woman on a team, she's going to make the place more cooperative. Like, there's this feminine element that when it's in the workplace has a lot of benefits for a lot of companies. And I believe that that's, likely true, but I haven't done the studies on it or anything, and but there also is this element that women, at least, seem to be experiencing amongst themselves, where there's this non-cooperative competition. And so obviously I'm not a woman, I can't tell you, and I'm certainly not a woman who's advanced to a higher position, but this is just something anecdotally that I've noticed, or that I've heard of, that I wanted to bring up for anybody who might want to consider it, that might be of benefit to you, is that if you are in a position where you do kind of maybe fear other women, or see them as competition, or see it as some sort of like, there's only so many token woman spots, and I could be wrong about this, but I would suggest try to acknowledge that, and let it pass. And no matter whether you're a man or a woman, when you identify people who are men or women who are in your circle that excel at something, especially if it's something adjacent to you, because I think there is like a, I could understand if say I'm a programmer and you're a programmer, I could see how, maybe there'd feel like some threat, like they only need so many programmers. If somebody's not that good, then they could get bumped. But generally, my experience, like even with other programmers, like there's a guy I know who's way better than me, and I have wanted to bring him on the team when I can. He's worked with me twice. One time, it wasn't me bringing him on. The other time it was. He's just phenomenally intelligent and able to hold so much in his head, and he's just smarter than I am. And so, like even there, to me, it seems like just bringing somebody else in and recognizing somebody else's talent and raising them up to where you are. I mean, I don't think there's any danger in letting someone excel beyond you, especially if that's their capability. I mean, I believe that I know that with some of these people, they have also, encouraged me to go join them where they're at. And if I needed a hand, if I was in a period where I was looking for different work, I could reach out to those people, and that's a positive experience. Like, hey, we had a good experience working together. You brought me in. You gave me a lot of credibility and praise, and made me look good. So I think in the workplace, you do want to strive, and it's hard because I mean, like, I'm not gonna pretend like I'm perfect. There's times I've been envious or jealous of people. There's times that I've I talked yesterday about envy and jealousy versus inspiration. There's times when I've let the little monster inside get the better of me. But I know that the better result comes out of being inspired by other people and looking at their best qualities and trying to raise them up to where you are. And that in general, that's going to have that effect of them wanting to raise you up when, the coin is flipped or whatever. So, um, again, I'm not an expert. Maybe I shouldn't even be talking about this. It's just some anecdotal stuff that I remembered in part because of a little tag on a coffee cup. But I know that if anybody that's looking for career advancement, I believe this wholeheartedly. One of the best things that you can do is rub shoulders with people that are better than you and smarter than you, and when there's an opportunity, bring them into where you are, bring them onto your team, and let them excel. Don't compete against them once they're on the same team. Um, oh, and it is time for me to go. So, you all, in the words of a person who has been inspiring me lately, have the best day ever. Adios. And where's that end button?